how are you different from the other event management companies that are there in the market?
Specialty chefs.
Okay.
You have one caterer on board, and then you hire those chefs cuisines, like Ritu Dalmia does Italian, there is Tukta who does Thai cuisine.
One should be splurging or one should be saving when it comes to planning a wedding.
People plan their wedding on social media. Major destinations in India, what families prefer these days is
कि मुझे बेस्ट चाहिए, या वो लोग ऐसा बोलते हैं कि मुझे ऐसा चाहिए जो किसी ने अभी तक ना किया हो.
sustainable. We right now we use a lot of silk artificial flowers also.
Welcome to Unscripted with Shah, powered by Shankus Season 1. Our today's guest is the CEO of Celebrations. She has walked into rooms where the stakes were very high and walked out with stories that has built her brand. So from budget to breakdown, she has handled it all. Please help me welcome Purva Patel from Pristine by Purva. Hi Purva.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Please have a seat. So Purva, before we dive into your journey, I really want to know that what inspired you to start Pristine by Purva?
So Pristine was started about 6 years back, but I have been into this field since almost now 20 years. And early on, I was always working. I started working when I was in the 11th grade. I started doing tuitions, and I was taking some classes at the kids NIT. At that time, this NIT was very popular. So I was taking classes for kids over there, and then just started into events. I was working with an insurance company. I was doing their events, and from that we got into Saregama, which was a very famous show at that point.
At that point.
They started with these road shows all over the country for finding good lead singers and all.
Right.
And for Ahmedabad, they appointed me to do this, and somehow I developed the interest for this field. So it started out very small with window displays, doing this kind of events and all. And then eventually I figured out there is something which is lacking in this field, and I'm not a corporate person. I like to be very involved, very social with the families that I deal with, so they become like friends and all. So I was feeling that corporate is not my calling. It's not something which I want to, and then there was an opportunity in the family. Some family friends' daughter was getting married, and they were like, can you help us with planning the wedding? So that's how it started. And when we were doing the wedding, at that time, using fresh flowers was like, which never used to happen. It's just started, and then everything follows by. So it's been like a roller coaster, but it was like a very humble beginning, and then you realize that there's no one in this field, there's something which can be done, and you started out with helping people, and eventually this has become like a huge industry now. Weddings are huge now in India.
They are huge. So when you said that there was no one in the industry before, so initially when you started out, what was the toughest moments in your life? So did you ever felt like I really want to give up, but you did not?
So it happened when my earlier company was the company which I was a partner with, and somehow we had some differences with the partner, and we decided to start Pristine overnight, and just to let go of that 15 years of hard work, and then to start out something new, obviously. And when you have a partner on board, and then you just have to start out all by yourself. And I'm a very creative person, so I like to create something. I like to give out experiences. It's not just about doing a regular wedding where there is only haldi, mehndi, and the typical sangeet and everything. We always try and curate an experience when it comes to a wedding or a milestone that we do. So when I started Pristine, it was like an overnight journey, just to leave everything of 15 years of hard work that you've done, something that you have developed, and you just have to let go of it.
So can we say that it was one of your boldest decisions as an entrepreneur that you have made?
Yeah, it was one of the boldest. And we started out with my husband's, he runs a NGO, and we started out from that office, and I just told him that you give me space to just do something, and then we'll see how we grow eventually, and then we will move to my own space. So within a year's time we had our office and Rather, within 6 months, we
so
started
nice.
making our own office and everything.
Yeah.
So the clients who trusted us also followed.
Yeah.
And that's how there has been not been any less work. After starting Pristine, it's been, and in between there was COVID also. When we started, within a year, COVID hit.
Yeah.
So, but thankfully, we always had something or the other to do.
That's very nice. So when you said your husband supported you initially with the space and all. So when it comes to, fulfilling your dreams, do you feel that guilt that that you are working towards your dreams?
As a mother, I always feel that guilt. As a wife, I don't think I ever felt that, because my husband has always been by my side. Chiranjeev will never, stop me to do anything.
Yeah.
So in that form, as a mother, I am always guilty about not giving that enough time to Prayan, or missing his movements, or at times when we are traveling for work, and if there's something happening with Prayan, you just miss all those things.
Yeah.
So as a mother, of course, there are a lot of guilty moments.
Yeah.
Just missing out on so much related to him.
Yeah.
But on the brighter side, like he's 13 now, so he understands what Mama does and what Mama is into, and couple of events also I take him along with me, so he understands my work and the hard work that goes behind it. So he, when you see him and you see him proud of you, then you feel that, okay, now we've raised him something right.
Right. And when you started Purva, initially it was a male dominant industry, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, completely.
Yeah. So how did you earn that respect, number one, as a woman, because this is a male driven industry, and second, as an entrepreneur?
So, with my field, it is like, it's a lot of word of mouth. When you do something good, there are hundreds of people talking about it. If you do like a great event, it's been talk of the town. You might be knowing, because you keep hearing things.
Yes.
So earlier it was to start out with Pristine, when I separated, it was a little bit difficult, because people didn't used to trust women entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
But looking at the strength, looking at how you manage things, and I feel that women can do anything. They can be homemakers brilliantly, they can manage, because we are anyways multitaskers. We are mothers, we are entrepreneurs, we are homemakers, we plan everything. So for me, it is always about you are a natural planner, so the planning comes into process,
right? And even the gut feeling, I feel, is very strong.
Yeah, it's very strong.
Women.
So it works that way, and thankfully, all the support also that we get.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I think everyone's too broad-minded.
Yeah, everyone.
Like when I got married, there were lesser women who were working, but my dad and my mother-in-law, I call her Daksha. Daksha was always very encouraging that you don't need to stay home. We have everything.
Yeah.
So you do whatever you like, but don't be home.
Don't be home. Yeah. So Purva, what is that one myth about women and success that you would want to break forever?
It is like, with women, there are a lot of breaks that you take in your life. When you're becoming a mother, you're getting married. There are a lot of transitions that I go through as a woman. But to start out at any point of time, like even if you have grown up, your children are grown up and you want to do something, just don't think about it. Just dive into it.
Yeah.
That is what I would like to convey. It's not like, you have to wait for the time.
Yeah.
Just do it when you feel, and when you feel that the idea is right and you're prepared, just go for it. Don't be scared.
Yeah. So were you like this before, or is it like, because of the experience and, the kind of experience that you got from your work made you who you are as a person today?
Of course.
Because I always see you, I've always seen you as a woman who is very fierce, is fierce, who knows what she's doing. And you are a woman of very less words, because your work speaks a lot.
Yes, I prefer that work should speak. But of course, there are challenges to everything, and being like this, of course, it happens with the years of experience. It doesn't happen overnight. I was a very shy kind of a person when I was growing up.
Okay.
So just the transition from being shy to being a public person, it's a lot.
It has changed.
It has changed, of course.
And are you enjoying this?
I do enjoy, of course. I need my me time also at times, and I just, I love to travel, so I just take
So do you take inspiration while you are traveling for your
All the
next
time.
events?
All
Because
the
this
time.
is what creative person, like
Yes.
I am also a stylist and a designer. So I also, whenever I'm traveling, or even if I'm not traveling, I'll just look around, gaze around.
Of course, you
and
have
just-
to do that. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you cannot expand your horizon also if
Yeah.
you don't take inspiration from what people are doing, what is going on in the market, or probably when you travel, there are so many new things that you get to see.
Yeah.
So you have to keep your eyes and ears open everywhere.
Open everywhere, definitely. I would now want to talk about wedding planning and milestone birthdays, which have now become your USP, right? So I know for a fact that people always remember champagne towers. As in, I mean to say
Yeah.
that they don't see the tiny touches that makes it unforgettable, right?
Yes.
So I would love to know more about what is the unseen part of curating such luxury events.
When a person comes to an event, they are seeing a finished picture.
Yeah.
Like the best of the florals are there, the celebration is done in a certain way, the entry is planned in a certain way, but there is a lot of hard work which goes, like a planning of 6 to 8 months, which goes behind putting those things together.
Yeah.
And arriving on that final day, and what we do is just practically done for a day, and then it's vanished.
Yeah.
It's just a memory that is
just a memory.
being created for the bride and groom, or the people who do their milestone birthdays.
Yeah.
So but there is a 6 to 8 months of planning which goes, and then there are a lot of pros and cons, whether this would work or this would not work, the structure will stay up or it won't, because the designs that we do involves a lot of you're making a building. A building requires a lot of structural work,
And the foundation also has to be strong. Yeah.
So similar way, when we also design, there is a lot of structural work and the foundation which has to be that strong enough to sustain the entire thing.
Right.
So of course there are a lot of last minute things also that we have to change, and then you have to just come up with an idea that let's just not do this and let's change this to this.
Yeah.
Lot of changes which happen on the spot also.
Right. So how are you different from the other event management companies that are there in the market?
So I would say that everyone, as I said earlier, we curate events. We don't just do events.
Yeah.
It's not only about doing the events. It's about curating something which has not happened, which is like special for the bride and groom. Which is
You believe in
special
giving
for
the
birthday.
experience, if I'm not wrong?
Yeah, I believe in curating the experience. Otherwise, regular events, a lot of people do. And we only take up selective projects. People should understand, and they should have that persona and that vibe to create something.
Right.
So it's very different from what happens in the market.
Right. And also, like, if I am planning my wedding, let's say, right, what according to you is that one thing that that shouldn't be missed out on?
See, for a wedding, I would say we shouldn't miss on the great entries of the bride and groom, because that creates like the best photogenic memories. So that is something which should be created. And when we are planning a varmala, it has to be done during the sunset time.
Achha, during the sunset time.
That's the perfect setting when the garland should be exchanged. You get the magical sky, plus you get the dusk of the light.
Right.
So it is just a perfect moment. So I would like to create those kind of special moments.
Right. So do you like, what's your favorite, daytime wedding or nighttime wedding?
Of course, nighttime.
Nighttime wedding. I thought you were saying daytime.
No,
because
that's
of
when the
colours.
lights and everything comes up, and that's where the structures are lit up very well. It gives a great setting. So when you have a transition of the wedding from afternoon to evening, you see all three different kind of moods.
Yes. So Purva, what are some hidden costs that people don't consider?
So, I would say that, when a person starts planning the wedding, there is a checklist that they should be making of the budgeting that they are planning to spend on the wedding,
Right.
which is related to, you don't consider the jewelry and the outfits and all in the budget. But the major, like if you're doing a haldi, you're doing a mehendi, then the wedding, then the cocktail night or whatever, it has to be budgeted in a format that you start with a mehendi, it can be on a lower scale, then the haldi has to be on a little higher scale, then the sangeet has to go on a little like a proper scale. So the budgeting needs to be planned in a certain way that finally the grandeur of the wedding has to happen. So it has to be done in a way that you calculate each and everything. There are a lot of smaller agencies that people don't think about, like the valet agency, the securities, all those things are never budgeted.
Yeah, that's
and
completely right.
housekeeping is also something which is never budgeted in a normal person's mind. You would there are only bigger headers that they would work in. So to consider all these things also is an important part. Plus there are lot of activities also that can be done in the haldi, the sangeet now. So there are a lot of small activities which can be done and which adds the extra oof. So all these things a normal person never calculates.
Yeah, that is true. And also because these activities are needed to entertain your guests.
Exactly.
And so, most of the times they are not thought well about.
And there is a lot of this thing for calling different kind of chefs also, like specialty chefs. You have one caterer on board and then you hire those chefs. They do a different kind of specialty cuisines, like Ritu Dalmia does Italian, there is Tukta who does Thai cuisine. So I mean there are a lot of them, and there are a lot of people from abroad also now open to doing weddings, like Zuma also does counters in the weddings, and you can get a lot of people on board like that just to do specialty counters.
Right.
So all those things also add like extra excitement to the,
and that is the cause that people should definitely keep in mind while planning the wedding, right? So when we are talking about the budgeting and cost, right? So what do you think people should, are there any specific requirements, or not requirements, but are there any things where, one should be splurging or one should be saving when it comes to planning a wedding?
So I always feel that budgets have to be distributed equally, because if the food is not good, then your entire project is a failure. So everything has to be equally distributed from the person who enters the wedding. There should be experience which has to be curated. So when you enter, you don't feel that where am I? Why would I? Certain weddings are like that. You don't feel like
even the
spending more time.
Spending more time.
So that's how everything has to be equally done.
Right. And where can one save?
Saving is something which I don't know where they can save, because this is like an endless field. It's like there is no end to it unless you are very clear on the budgets, rather than just negotiating and doing. If you're clear in your head that I want to spend so much over here, then it becomes easier for them also to enjoy the experience, rather than just doing the negotiations back and forth. If it is easy for the planner that the client is clear in the head that they want to spend this much.
Do you think like most of the times people are, when clients come to you, are they clear in their heads that what they want? Because sometimes I feel even I sometimes refer to Pinterest or maybe Instagram, some or the other reference. So how do you deal with that?
So these days it's more about social media only, and people plan their wedding on social media. That's what I would say. And they have their Pinterest board sorted. They have everything sorted in their head that this is how I want it to be. This is how it has to be done. Especially the bride and grooms, because the Gen Z, they are very clear on their thoughts. But to practically execute those thoughts and how to place it is a very difficult thing for us. If a person who comes who is naive about all these things, it's more easier for us to explain them, to implement them, to give them ideas. But because if a person is coming to us with a pre-notioned idea, to change their idea, it gets very difficult for us.
The reason why I'm asking you this is because sometimes when I look at this market, I feel feel like, in India, are we really, when it comes to events, are we really expanding, or we are just, doing the repetitive things, like because we are taking references and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So,
and the major references are from abroad.
Abroad, yeah, yes.
So certain places, of course, we've evolved a lot in terms of design and decor, I would say. In terms of technology also, we are evolving. We have a lot of different kind of technology which is used right now, related to lighting, related to elements which are like, the dancing balls, and there are a lot of things which are being used
to give that experience,
to give that experience. But yeah, of course, we cannot be that technically sound, which is in probably you get it in the Middle East or other places. But of course, we are getting there because it's a huge industry. There are people who are looking out for new things, because if they are spending, they want something new. So yeah, I think overall in the last 10 years, the industry has changed 360 degree. So yeah, we are trying to adapt a lot with the in line with the foreign events as well.
Okay, and what are the current trends when it comes to wedding that you are seeing?
So in terms of trends, in terms of colors, I would say like the pastels are going out, more warm tones are coming in. So this year it's more about browns, the deep wine colors, and all those colors,
all whites also, all monochromatic,
monochromatic and stuff. So it's like completely evolving and changing. You'll see it over the season. So yeah, it's different.
Okay, and according to you, what's the most overdone theme when it comes to wedding?
I would say the reds are too overdone.
Yeah, even I am not a fan of red.
So I'm not a fan of doing a red wedding. Yeah, but then it's too overdone.
And also, I think boho themes and like Bollywood night,
boho, all those are gone are the times.
Yeah, gone are the times.
Yeah, boho is like, it's so overrated and overdone, also. And the La Dolce Vita also is like too overdone.
Too overdone.
Yeah. So certain themes are overdone.
Do you believe now simplicity is going to be on the front?
I don't know about that, because the kind of weddings I do, they are like elaborate.
Yeah, but maybe with the colors, not too much of color blocking, but something simpler.
Yeah, something less on florals, more of elements. All those things.
So that looks elegant and very sophisticated.
So that is going to be the play for this year, I would say.
Yeah, and when we are planning a wedding, right? So what are some destinations in India that generally the families prefer?
So major destinations in India, what families prefer these days is, of course, Rajasthan is the royal, and it's always the best. People are also going towards the north, Mussoorie, Rishikesh, all those places. There are a lot of weddings happening. Down south, people are looking at temples for doing weddings, like
because of the architecture.
Yeah, the architecture. It's beautiful, and of course, the weather's not there because it's a tropical weather. But overall, architecture wise, you'll find so much in south that you'll never see it anywhere else.
Okay.
So yeah, those kind of places like Hampi, Kurg, and all those places, they are also coming up pretty well.
Do you remember any of your event? Because all events, I'm sure it's going to be very special for you. But any one event or maybe one, moment that just stayed with you even till today? Can you recall any?
So every time we plan a wedding or we plan a milestone, when the celebration is done, when the fireworks are done, it's like the most magical moment of the entire evening. Right. So for me to plan different kind of fireworks is something which I love to do.
Really?
And that has always been fascinating to me. Okay. And the moment when the bride and groom walks in and the Varmala happens, that is something which is magical, and still, it gets tears to my eyes.
Right, even the Kanyadan part that you told me. Yeah, it's very magical. So when people come to you, so do they ask for like कि मुझे best चाहिए, या वो लोग ऐसा बोलते हैं कि मुझे ऐसा चाहिए जो किसी ने अभी तक ना किया हो?
It's both. It's both, I would say. But yeah, I would love people who would be like, just just do what you like.
Do what you like, definitely. And I think
And
this is,
where you get the creative freedom to plan the
that's
entire
the best
celebration.
part, you know.
Yeah. So I have a lot of clients who let me do that.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be very different then.
And because they trust you also, and they've
Yeah.
seen your work also, so they can align with, you know, what kind of vision you might be having for them.
Exactly. So
Right.
it works that way.
Yeah. And how can someone make the wedding or any event, maybe even the birthday events, sustainable?
Sustainable, we right now we use a lot of silk artificial flowers also.
Okay.
For our events. There are certain fabrics also which come in a sustainable format. So all those things, and of course we do a lot of mix match of the structures also, like a design which is made earlier, we changed and revamped that. So in terms, sustainable is something that the entire industry is working towards, and we are also trying to incorporate that.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of food wastage and all those things which happen in wedding, but there are a lot of caterers who ties up with an NGO, and they give out the
nice.
extra food. Plus there are a lot of florists also who use the recycled flowers.
And even with the invitation, I think
E-invites is
and
something which
everything.
is,
and even
I think,
for gift.
last 4-5 years people have adapted to invites.
Yeah, that's a very good approach,
Yeah.
I feel. So, Purva, does a celebrity culture play an important role in today's wedding?
So it depends on the choice of the client, because Kina, there are a lot of good artists which are available in terms of like bands or singers or entertainers, I would
Right,
say.
yes.
But if the client is fascinated by Bollywood and they want some celebrity who's coming and performing at their wedding, or having a talk in the wedding, or just a just an interaction in the
Right.
wedding, it depends completely on client to client how they would look at. Of course, the clients that we deal with, they are not fascinated by celebrities, but then that extra factor is only done by a celebrity.
yeah, yes.
So yeah, there is a huge culture of celebrities coming and performing in weddings right now, and they do amazing performances like dance performances, aerial acts. There are so many things that celebrities they get that extra oomph to the wedding. So,
And have you ever signed NDA, you know, for such high, any event have you signed any NDA?
we've not signed a NDA, but of course, if the family doesn't want us to disclose anything, it has been maintained that what celebrity is performing, who's coming in. All those things are something which a lot of families don't want to let it out before the thing happens, because it gets the surprise element.
Yes.
Like Shahid Kapoor performing for your wedding, you wouldn't want everyone to know about it.
Definitely.
Because it kills the excitement, I would say.
Right.
So, but there's no NDA, of course. It's not been the case as of now.
Okay. And what is one unique request that you had from a client and you actually delivered it?
So I would say unique request is something which always comes up in our wedding, like arranging the booze at 3 in the night, and then people want
I'm sure,
things that
yeah.
the youngsters, they look for different kind of things. But yeah, like the last wedding that I did was we planned it in a 1 month's time, and it was like a 400 people wedding in Udaipur, and a lot of celebrities were performing, a lot of artists were there, and everything was planned within 1 month. The entire decor, the execution, everything was done in a month's time. So that is something which is like a challenge, and it was a huge challenge for us also. Because it was a pretty high profile wedding. So of course I would say that was more like, it was like a 360 different kind of an experience doing something on such a short notice.
So if I come for my wedding and on such a short notice, you'll be able to do it.
Of course.
Before we wrap this up, I would really want to know that what advice or suggestion would you like to give to the couple who is getting married this season?
They should start planning early.
Right.
That is something, because now there are, if you're doing a wedding in India, there are very limited places if you're doing a destination wedding, and the hotels and the resorts, they get booked a year in advance. And even with the best of the agencies, they also they would like to take up 2 projects or 3 projects in a season. What we do is we only take up 1 project, but there are people, there are light agencies, there are decor agencies who only take up like 2-3 projects. And if you are not booking everything in advance, then you don't get the best of the agencies.
Right.
So anything that you plan has to be done in advance. You should trust your wedding planner for the planning process, and of course, if we are advising something, or if some trend that you want to incorporate in your wedding or anything, and that needs a time to prepare.
Yeah.
So everything has to be very time sensitive.
Right.
So if you have like 8 to 6 months for planning your wedding, you should give equal leverage, not just to for your outfit or the makeup artist or anything. It has to, everything has to be planned in advance.
And when somebody comes to you, because you are a wedding planner, so you take care of everything, right?
Yeah, we do take care of everything, from like booking their venues to anything related to the wedding, like designing, planning.
So you are the one-stop
entertainment,
solution when it comes to wedding and birthday events and
yes,
all.
yes.
Right. No, but thank you, Purva. It was lovely having you, and I'm sure people who are going to listen this, they are going to have a very insightful information. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for calling me.